Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. So we can see that Chevalier is overworking himself. Why is everyone overworking themselves? Why can't it just be like me? Do nothing. Every day, my goal is to just survive. And that's all. Hey, that's a good goal, you know? Hmm? Have you ever thought of that? Just to survive? Just the minimum, the bare minimum. So I guess we'll get started on the next chapter. Let's go. You will fail, dearest heart, because you do not know what it means to be a witch. We feed off negativity and chaos. Love serves us no power. You will see that in time. Must you haunt me even in the day, mother? I stifle a groan. Every time I close my eyes, I see mother smirking at me. I pull my hand away from my face and survey the councilmen gathered around the table. All of them are focused on father. Except Durin and Garland, who are looking at me worriedly. I turn away with a grimace. I cannot let on that I am barely able to keep my eyes open. I hardly slept last night. If Chevalier hadn't left the merchant before I woke up, he would have noticed something was amiss. I turned to father, who has been discussing the possibility of increased taxes for over an hour. While I am aware that the increase could benefit the palace personnel, I would not raise them unless absolutely necessary. One councilman raises his hand to voice his discontent. He insists that the increase in taxes would help with the knights. Duran scowls. Rest assured, His Majesty amply compensates us for our duty. The councilman looks disgruntled by Duran's rebuttal. Clearly, he is not expecting the commander of the Order of the Caldera to argue against his increased funding. The conversation makes its way around the table until it is my turn to speak. I am not afraid to voice my agreement with my father. Before, I would not have cared about the consequences of raising taxes. But now, after getting to know Annesley's citizens, I understand the ramifications of our actions. But it is as if no one hears my opinion. The counselors do not respond to me at all, instead continuing the conversation as if they have not heard me. It is not unsimilar to a group of adults ignoring a child's commentary. My irritation builds as the counselors continue speaking of their so-called benefits until I pound a fist to the table. Are you done? Because while you all clearly have your wallets in mind, I am thinking of the kingdom. A tense silence fills the throne room. My father's surprise is fleeting. He quickly takes charge of the conversation again. I clasp my hand in my lap and flinch when electricity snakes through my fingers. I clench down on the magic trying to quell my panic. I am in control. Luckily, the electricity fades as the meeting comes to a close. Still, I do not miss the nervous looks of the councilmen over their shoulders as they exit the room. After they leave, only my father and the two knights remain. Your Highness, are you okay? I am fine. The words come out sharper than I intended. Why am I so mad? I ball my hands into a fist and try again. I am fine. Your eyes are glassy. They are not. This is how I felt when I first learning to control the Tenebrum. If I don't manage it properly, the negative emotions stored in it can influence my mood. I eye the electricity sparkling at my fingertips and sigh. I apologize. I did not intend for that outburst to happen. I promise I am fine. Garland offers a hesitant smile. If there's ever anything we can do to help, please do not hesitate to call on us, Princess. We may not be advisors, but we'll serve however we can. Julian nods. I personally think that you have been overworking yourself. No, I just have not been able to sleep. There have been certain extenuating circumstances involving the Tenenbaum. My eyes flit to my father. I wonder vaguely if he's thinking about my mother's loss of control when he looks at me. I have been working with the witches to resolve the problem, so there's no need for concern. I have faith in you, Lucette. I will always will. But nonetheless, I echo Julian and Garland's offer. I hope you will not hesitate to speak with me if you need to help. If you need the help. I offer a tired, grateful smile. Thank you, Father. Though we are still in the process of mending our relationship after years of silence, I appreciate that he is actively taking steps to make things right between us. I rise from my seat. If I may be excused, I have an errand to run. After leaving the throne room, I steer myself in the direction of the merchant, and my tiredness does not excuse me from my obligations. Right now, I have my responsibilities to check in with Delora. Hello? The tavern is eerily silent when I enter. Typically, it is packed with customers at this hour, with Annis calling orders behind the bar. However, today, the closed sign was displayed outside the merchant tavern's door. They must all be busy. Hello? No one responds to my call, at least not at first. When I hear the unmistakable sound of sweeping coming from the corridor. Oh no. Ah, yeah, baby. Look at that. Who is that? Who is that handsome face? Ooh, spicy, smexy. I back away at the broom's sudden appearance. Mr. Broom is unfazed. It hops out to greet me with an enviable energy. I hope you do not plan on trying to make me sweep today. You do know that you do not need my assistance anymore. The broom's one response is to hop towards me again. I groan in its exuberance. Is anyone else here? I know that the broom can understand me, and yet it does not give any sign of having heard me. It continues to hop towards me. No, I am not sweeping the floors. I purposefully altered Delora's charm so that a broom could sweep on its own, and yet it still harasses me. There is hardly a speck of dust in here. I falter when I notice the dusty footprints by the doorway. Were my shoes really that dirty? The broom is restless. It seems to quiver with anticipation. Aw, Mr. Broom, of course I would sweep with you. Anytime, any day. If it was with you, I'd always do it. Mr. Broom should be one of the targets. I would definitely go with Mr. Broom. Mr. Broom would be my favorite target if he were one. Like, I mean, come on, look at him. He has a bow, for goodness sake. A bow! Sweep, sweep, sweep. I hold up my hands, defeated. It is an obstinate thing, and it will not desist until I sweep away the dirt I tracked inside. Fine, but once I sweep out my tracks, you will leave me alone. The broom throws itself into my hands, then rushes forward, pulling me with it. Whoa, not so fast! The broom, of course, does not heed my words. My anger soon fades. I blame the nostalgia. It makes my mind stray. Before I know it, I'm remembering the first time I came to the merchant. Back then, I remember thinking that being forced to work here was the hardest thing I've ever done. Even small chores like sweeping seemed like a terrible punishment. I was irritated that Parfait and Laura forced me to work when, in actuality, they were only teaching me how the world worked. And Parfait, I always took her company for granted. But now she's gone, and she's never coming back. Oh, what's this? I swivel in place. Chevalier is standing in the doorway, surprise etched into his face. I realize that though the dust has been cleared away, I'm still clutching the broom. It looks like the two of you are getting along. I peel my hands off the broom with a sigh. The broom attacked me. And here I thought you looked like you were having fun. He steps forward and the smile fades. You look lost in thought. Is there something on your mind? I was just remembering the first time I had to sweep Miss Smith's broom. Parfait put a ribbon on him because she thought it would somehow make the situation better. I note the melancholy in Chevalier's eyes and mentally chastise myself. Why did I have to bring up Parfait in front of him? I'm sorry. Don't apologize, Lucette. I think Lady Parfait would be happy that we think about her every now and then. I also think that she'd be happy knowing that Mr. Broom can evoke such a meaningful memory. What's meaningful? Annis is suddenly standing behind us, a quizzical smile on her face. Oh, Lady Annis! I checked with the sound we heard outside and discovered the princess and Mr. Broom. As always, they make the second most perfect duo. Second? You and I are the first. Annis beams at me. I'm going to assume that you aren't here to sweep. But then, why are you here, princess? I came to speak with Delora and Sinna. Ah, Cinnamon and Lady Delora, I'm in a meeting with the fairies. You should be back soon though. If you'd like, I could make you a cup of tea while you wait. I was just going to make some for Chevalier and me. Or perhaps you'd like some hot chocolate, Lucette, with just a pinch of cinnamon? He sets a hand on my shoulder and smiles at me softly. You look like you could use it. My shoulders sag beneath his hand. As always, Chevalier can see right through me. Some hot chocolate would be nice, thank you. I follow them into the reception room. I spend the next few hours discussing the day's events. As always, I let my guard down in front of the two of them. They are both excellent listeners. I have a lot to learn from them. Day fades to night, and the stars soon blanket the sky. I'm considering sending a messenger for Delora when the door opens and the woman in question steps inside. Well, if it isn't my favorite princess. Emmeline would be offended. Well, it's a good thing she's not here then. Chevalier smiles at her mischievously. You're glad she's not here because her innocent sparkling eyes would break your resolve. Huh, so even the ice-cold Delora has a soft side. Sinna is standing in the doorway, arms crossed. Did you just call me ice-cold, Cinnamon? You don't know what that means. Sinna grumbles and he takes a seat at the settee. Delora watches him, looking exasperated. I wonder if something happened at their meeting. Delora seats herself beside Annis and looks at me expectantly. So what's the news with Lieutenant Barham? Have you noticed any disturbances? Well, I bring up the surge of negative emotions I've been experiencing today. Delora crosses her arms and sighs. Well, if this is still continuing after our training, I feel inclined to call it an imbalance. Or maybe your training isn't as effective as you think. Oh, would you like to take over the princess's training? Sinna turns away, cheeks flushed. Sinna, I think the princess has made her case. This is something the two of you need to resolve together. Sinna rises with a scowl. I've said this before. There is nothing to talk about. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other, more pressing matters to attend to. Before either of us can get a word in, Sinna leaves the room and slams the door behind him. He seems troubled. Sinna is too proud for his own good. The more you corner him, the cattier he becomes. It's even worse today because he had to deal with the fairies questioning his legitimacy as the Luce's heir. It's no wonder he feels attacked. But all I want to do is talk to him so he can locate the source of the problem. I'm sorry, Lucette. Other than offering you extra training lessons, there's not much I can do to help you. I think it'd be best if you somehow trick Sinna into a conversation. Otherwise, you'll need to speak to someone who can tell you a little more about how the Lucis functions. If Sinna continues to be uncooperative, Waltz and I can reach out to some fairies we know. I feel like Sinna would become more hostile if I spoke with someone that wasn't him. No, I will find a way to speak with him. Dolora sighs. Good luck. Trying to get Sinna to do anything is like herding cats. Though I do not doubt that what Dolora says, I must still try my best to see eye to eye with Sinna. The two of us have an obligation to work together as a Tenebrae at Mem Lucis bearers. I'll figure out a way to speak to him. Somehow. Perhaps you can bribe him. You want to bribe a child? A child? Does a child even know the worth of money? I definitely didn't know the worth of money. I was just like, $10? That's a fortune. But now I'm just like, $10 can buy me a meal. That's all. Does he even know the worth of money? Maybe I was too sheltered than I am. Maybe I was too sheltered. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was too sheltered, you know. With what? Insects? Chevalier and I walking back to the palace together, brainstorming ways we can force Sinna to converse with me. Cinnamon's favorite hobby is bat catching, so I had to marry it as an idea, but oh, that's so cute. Bat catching? I would never do that as a child. I was too grossed out. I refuse to wave a net around and catch insects with him. I doubt you need a net. Butterflies would flock to you, lovely as you are. I'd rather not be a perch for butterflies. Ah, but princess, you'd look something out of the fairy tale. We don't live in a fairy tale, Chev. The two of us have just rounded the corner when somebody calls Chevalier's name. Mr. Chevalier, sir! A familiar boy rushes towards us, smiling brightly. Doctor, princess! It is a boy who used to visit Chevalier at his clinic. More than 2 years ago, Chevalier saved this boy's life by striking a deal with the elusive witch doctor. The deal eventually caused Chevalier to become cursed. During that time, he did not remember the boy or the circumstances that he had caused him to be cursed. Since the curse broke, however, the boy has been visiting Chevalier and watching him work when Chevalier permits it. I have not seen him since Chevalier made the preparations to give his clinic to Annis. What a serendipitous meeting! To what do I owe the pleasure of your company, little sir? Chevalier crouches down beside the boy, and I cannot help but smile at the sight of them. I've never been good with children, but watching Chevalier interact with them always makes me happy. I heard a tragic rumor. Oh? Care to share? The boy glances at me, a thoughtful look on his face. Are you and the doctor getting married? What? What? Where in the world did that come from? I'm experiencing a terrible. I am experiencing a terrible sense of deja vu. I expect Chevalier to laugh or smile. Instead, he becomes oddly stiff. I cannot help but recall the trances that used to come over him when he was still an amnesiac. Wait, they're not getting married? I Huh? So 2 years have passed, and okay, I guess it's normal for people to stay and not get married as soon as they get together, like Claude. I guess 2 years is too fast. But my parents took like, I don't know how long they took, but it was just like, do you want to marry me? I want to date you because I want to marry you, or something like that. My sisters will hear this and they'll just be like, is that true? And I, disclaimer, I don't know. I truly do not know, but that's how I imagined it. I don't think they dated for very long. My parents, I mean. So maybe it's not strange to not want to marry after 2 years. I don't know. Let's just hear their story. Is he okay? Doctor? Aww. Well, maybe he's not. Maybe he actually wants to marry us, but doesn't feel that he's worthy because he's like a commoner. Plus, it's like the rumors that the old women, they're not old, but the women, they were saying, oh, he's older than her. Oh, he's just a commoner, or something like that. Maybe he actually thinks like that. He's actually being hard on himself because he thinks like that as well. So maybe that's why he doesn't want to marry us. So who do we want to address? I guess the boy. Answer the boy. I'm kind of curious what kind of answer she'll give the boy. So let's ask the boy. Answer the boy. I lean down to address the boy directly. I do not know what this has to do with any rumors, but no, I am not married to the doctor. He is very special to me, though. The boy looks at me skeptically. Are you getting married soon, then? I falter, unable to give the boy a straight answer. If Chevalier proposed to me, he would be by my side always. I would get to see his smiling face every night, and he would, by extension, be the next in line for the throne. I look at Chevalier, who catches my eye and smiles awkwardly. After a few moments, I smile back at him. Chevalier already worries enough about being accepted by the nobles. That sort of commitment would overwhelm him. I understand this, even if the reality of it is disheartening, but I cannot stand to see that the sorrow on his face, so I speak the truth. I think that maybe someday we will be. Yes. I say the word for the boy's benefit, but it is Chevalier who seems more surprised, staring at me so owlishly that I cannot help but laugh. Marrying a doctor is as nice as Mr. Chevalier would be an honor for a princess. Lucette, that's... What, is the great Chevalier master flatterer at loss for words? Never. I could never run out of compliments for you. I am relieved to see him return to his normal self, even if things I said were embarrassing. Suddenly, the boy steps towards Chevalier, expression somber. I heard rumors that you are closing the clinic, that you were gonna start living in the palace, and I thought it was because you were marrying the princess. I'm afraid you have been misinformed. The clinic will remain open. Only a wonderful new lady is gonna take over for me. She'll be selling herbal remedies to help with all kinds of sicknesses. But what about you? I'm gonna be a physician at the palace. So you're just gonna help the nobles? No, of course not. But I can't be at two places at the same time, so... I can tell by his expression that he does not want to go into any more detail, so I assured the boy Chevalier will continue his practice, just in a different place. I kind of have my doubts. Will Chevalier really enjoy his stay as a physician in the palace? Because he likes to help people who are in need, right? And being a palace physician, everyone already has the money, so he does not have to worry about the money anymore. But they're not really the people who really need the medical help. They can get any doctor, to be honest. Well, not all doctors can be palace physicians, but there are the other people who can do the job as well as Chevalier, and but they won't have as big of a heart because they won't sacrifice their life for these people who are not able to afford this kind of expensive treatments. So I feel that I don't know if Chevalier will be fulfilled or not being in this new job. Why am I saying all this stuff? I don't even care for Chevalier. I maybe it's my human side showing, but his sadness dissipates when I tell him he can visit Chevalier at the palace. Mom is gonna be so excited when I tell her I can visit the palace. He runs out after that, leaving Chevalier and I alone. I reach for Chevalier's hand. Are you okay? Yes, sorry about that, Lucette. I blanked out. You talk about me overworking myself, but are you sure you aren't pushing yourself too hard? No, I'm not. I promise. I look at him skeptically. In the end, he only raises his hand to surrender, before again taking my hand in his. It's just a momentary lapse. Even when you're no longer an amnesiac, you still have memory problems. You really are an old man. Alas, I'm afraid even I can't be perfect. He plants a kiss on top of my head. Let's return to the palace, shall we? We wouldn't want everyone to worry when you don't show at dinner. I allow Chevalier to pull me along. As we walk, I wonder how I might get him to speak honestly about what is bothering him. 3 days later. Remind me again why we are here. To get cupcakes! We're not in Claude's route anymore. Why am I talking about cupcakes? I love Claude so much. Here is a small cafe on the outskirts of a town plaza. Actually, I've been here before. Years ago, when Chevalier was still Rumple, I came to this place to speak with his former fiancée. Though Bria has since moved her sewing business out of Ansley, I still sometimes remember our meeting. I actually spoke with her a few times after she and Chevalier officially separated. I even went to her shop to purchase some scarves for Emmeline. But right now, I am here with Chevalier, who has just ordered dessert off the menu. Cupcakes? He brought me here today without an explanation. If he hears my question, he'll give no indication. Are you sure you didn't want anything else, Lucette? Look, they even have this fancy hot chocolate. They serve it with rose petals. Hot chocolate with rose petals? Ew. Why would you want to eat plants? Chev. His name comes out a sigh. Ah, what a mournful sound. What's the matter, my sweet princess? You did not answer my question. Why are we here? He smiles at me coyly. Why, for a date, of course. A date? Your cheeks are red, Lucette. It's precious. They are not. The word comes out louder than I intended. And when the customers nearby tables look at me, I feel my cheeks warm again. Chevalier smiles at me. Chevalier is right. The last few nights have been especially rough. Though I have been by the merchant a few times to see Sinna, he mysteriously disappears every time I show up. I cannot help but wonder if he is using magic to vanish. Oh, also, I have something else planned as well. Something else? Yes, a surprise. You'll see soon. I'm wondering at his vagueness of words when a server sets a small plate down on a table. It is filled with biscuits. Lilies? That's cute. They're shaped like lilies? Did you know that this cafe only started serving these biscuits recently? I reach out to grab one of the cookies off the plate and admire the delicate frosting work. Even the flower filaments are carefully crafted. Only recently? That's right, all in honor of a certain crown princess. Chevalier laughs. You weren't paying attention when I ordered them earlier, were you? Otherwise, you would have reacted to them being called the Princess Lily platter. But how would they know what my favorite flower was? Who knows? Perhaps someone who happened to know her very well told them? I look up and meet Chevalier's gaze, baffled. Why? Because I don't like to be the only one to spoil you, and because I wanted to show you the townsfolk like you. Like me? Of course. But I try my best to speak with them. It's true. But I'm nowhere as good as conversing as Emmeline. People may no longer call me the Ice Princess, but that does not change the fact that my social skills still leave much to be desired. Do you need me to say what I think, Lucette, or can you already guess? I should let people spoil me, right? Chevalier claps his hand together. Exactly. I mean, why would you object? It's not very nice to object, you know. It's nicer to say thank you. Rather than be sorry or not accepting, it's better to actually thank people for whatever they have given us. And thank them for being patient with us or something like that, you know. So thank him. You are quite welcome, Lucette. You don't need to thank me though. Of course I do. If you're gonna spoil me and go to such lengths, I have to have other people spoil me as well. The least I can do is thank you. I sigh as I take a bite of the cookie. As strange as the situation is, I am still grateful. Your smile is more than enough gratitude for me, Princess. You always say that. Because it's true. I pop the rest of the biscuit into my mouth before reaching for another and holding it out to Chevalier. I hope you do not plan on making me eat all these by myself. Of course not. He takes the biscuit with a bright smile. He always goes out of his way to do such nice things for me. I should do something for him as well. My mind wanders back to the stall full of scarves we visited not long ago. Chevalier mentioned he needed a new scarf. He no longer wears the scarf Bria made him, but because Chevalier is Chevalier, he puts on other people's first and never thinks about what he needs. Princess? Suddenly, his face is mere inches from mine. I startle and fall back into my chair. Why must you always get so close? It's a lot easier to read your mind when I can look directly into your beautiful golden eyes. This is one time where I really don't want him to read my mind. He's perceptive to a fault. How can I surprise him if he sees it coming? And I was here under the impression that this was a meeting for 3. I turn my seat and I'm surprised to see Sinna standing beside our table. He surveys us skeptically. Cinnamon, what are you? What a pleasure it is to see you again, tiny lord. Call me again and I'll burn your biscuits. I eye Chevalier, who only flashes me a knowing smile. Is this what he was referring to when he said something else planned? I turn back to Sinna. You will not set anything on fire. Please sit, Sinna. I cannot lose this opportunity to speak with him. Sinna pulls up a chair. So, since the old man is the one who called me here, I'm gonna assume you wanna talk about the Baron and the Lucis. He eyes Chevalier. Remember what you promised me for this? A cinnamon roll? Yes, I will buy you one. Sinna flushes a deep red. It takes a great effort to stifle my laughter. Sinna, the most precious cinnamon. You don't want to finish that sentence. Despite his protest, Sinna does not budge. So he was a weakness for cinnamon. I should not be surprised. I glance again at Chevalier. So this was not just a date he set up. He set up this time for Sinna and I to meet. Leave it up to Chevalier to find a way to make this work. I clear my throat. To answer your earlier question, yes, that is correct. You have heard what I told Delora. I have, and I want to discuss the balance between the Lucis and the Terran Baron. As I said before, that is not necessary. I don't intend to change the way I'm handling the Lucis. He's acting like a petulant child. What do you mean by handling the Lucis? Sinna raises an eyebrow. I don't need to explain to you. All you need to know is that I don't intend to succumb to the Crystallum the same way my cousin did. Like Lady Parfait? Like Parfait? We speak at the same time. What are you two, parrots? Please explain, Sinna. There is nothing to explain. I just told you, I plan on doing things differently from my cousin. I will not make the same mistakes she did. Here he falters and looks, and for a few moments his bravado fades, and he looks uncertain. He looks young, like his age. Sinna, I lean forward. I know what it's like to have to take over someone else's job without being prepared for it. I understand wanting to do things differently. I'm doing things differently from my mother after all. But I also know that I need to explain those differences to others because my decisions impact all of Angeli. That is why I want you to speak to me. Your plan impacts both of us. Sinna refuses to meet my eyes. Cinnamon? Eventually he grumbles and looks up. That's Sinna. And fine, I'll talk, but you have to promise not to interrupt. I glance at Chevalier, who nods at me encouragingly. If there's one thing he taught me the importance of, it's listening. I promise. Sinna is quiet for a few moments, then he begins to tell us a story. Dun dun. Dun dun. The Pacifist, Chapter 3. Alright. Now, that's the end of Chapter 2. Let me bring my mic with me. Hello. So, that's the end of Chapter 2. We'll hear Sinna's story in Chapter 3. Interesting. We'll learn about why he does what he does. And maybe we'll find a common place where we both can agree on something. The princess and Sinna, you know? Anyway, like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Subscribe for more content like this. I do love visual novels. I'm trying to branch out to other games as well. Just don't know what games to play. So because of that, comment down below what games I should play. And I'll play it. My sister said she wanted me to play Chucho or whatever that is. So maybe I'll play that soon. And I think that's all. Thank you for watching and have a good day.